Hi, y'all, and welcome to the Lunch Live for day 7 of the Brooks Houck trial. We are on the defense case. We have a super short lunch. So I am just going to have to go really fast, blazingly fast through what's happened this morning. We will, of course, do our usual deep dive at 7 p.m. tonight, roughly 7 p.m. Central Time. And you'll be able to hear all of what happened today. But for the quick rundown, we have run back over here to give you this, and then I've got to run back over to the courthouse. We have had 3 defense witnesses so far. We had the opening statement by Joey's attorney. He reserved that at the beginning of the trial. He had the option of giving it then or reserving it until right before the defense case. And they did a pretty smart move. Brooks Houck's attorney did the opening statement for both of them, and then the attorney for Joseph Lawson saved his for right before the defense case begins. So that's today. And he gave a pretty short 15-minute overview of what's happened in the case so far, focusing a lot on the cell phone data and the cell phone evidence. So our first witness, I am sorry to say, targeting Ranger the dog. Yes, it was a man named Heath Farling, who does dog training and has a business with that. He testifies, and he basically dissed our poor Ranger the dog. Ranger is the one who alerted on the trunk area of Anna Whiteside's car. Anna Whiteside's had a white Buick. She was the grandmother of Brooks Houck. And of course, the prosecution believes Crystal Rogers' body may have been transported in that white Buick. There was a white Buick seen in and around the property and in several places connected to the case. But Heath Farling said, no, Ranger the dog was poorly trained. You can't trust his alert. He didn't tell us anything. So there you have it. Next witness, Porter Hendricks, another coon hunter. There were 3 coon hunters on the property next to the Houcks that night. 2 of them we've already heard from in the Commonwealth case. They say they saw that white Buick in the middle of the road. The white Buick, maybe, that belonged to Anna Hendricks, not Anna Hendricks, Anna Whiteside's, the grandmother of Brooks Houck. But this third coon hunter says, no, I was there and I didn't see any white car, and we all had to stick together. His testimony may be a little discredited by the fact that he was interviewed way, way after the fact. It was 2019 before anybody got to him and asked him questions. So maybe a little bit of a discredit for the length of time. But the big witness for the morning, Rhonda McCoy, she is Brooks Houck's sister, and she honestly didn't say a lot that would clear Brooks. So it isn't like she said, yes, I was with him at the time of the murder, and I saw him with no knife. I mean, it was none of that. It was more of a humanizing of Brooks Houck and talking about, here's our family, and here's a picture of Brooks with his son. Here's a picture of Brooks and Crystal out on the farm, and they're being, they're really enjoying the farm. We'd heard some testimony that Crystal was more of a city girl. Maybe she wouldn't have wanted all this walking around on the farm on paths. So they were sort of presenting a different view of Crystal Rogers than what we had heard in the Commonwealth case. So Rhonda was on cross-examination then with the prosecution. I would say they did not get very far with her, but it was at the same time very spicy, as one of the folks in there mentioned, somebody else sitting with me. She was defensive to some degree, but she also very calm. I think, frankly, her testimony went really well for the defense. They of course grilled her hard about recording in the grand jury, but she held her own pretty well, saying that the reason they were doing that was because of threats and intimidation, and they wanted to make sure that things were correctly recorded. She never really answered the question of why they needed that grand jury testimony recorded. So there was some evasion there, but I think overall that she was a pretty good witness for the defense. But like I say, she didn't take the case anywhere. She didn't give him an alibi or do something that dramatically changed the case, but she did serve to humanize him some. There was a period where Brooks got a little emotional this morning. We can talk about that as we tonight when we do our broader live stream. right now, we are on a lunch break. We've been a little early. I think there was some witness trouble where they weren't able to get the witness in time. And so they gave us a little early break, also very short. I've heard that the defense has 10 witnesses. Can that get done all today? I don't know. That's a lot of witnesses to cover in one day. It really depends on who the witnesses are and how controversial their testimony is, how long the cross is. Rhonda was a pretty long witness, the other two, not so much. So there's your quick rundown of the morning. Do not forget, 7 p.m. tonight, we will be breaking down in detail everything that's happened. We may have finished the defense case by then, and I can lay it out for you and let you know what they've argued. So you don't want to miss any of that, and I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, not Eastern. We go on Central now, just for this week. I have to